Welcome to the Land Investing Business Secret Podcast, where each short episode we talk about the strategies, experiences, and the tools to help you launch, grow, and scale your land business. Learn how to find freedom within your own business, find out ways to build consistency in your processes, and hear how other everyday land investors are winning so you can get to the next step closer to building your dream life through your land business. And I'm your host of the Land Investing Business Secrets Podcast by Pebble, Jesse Kwong. Hey, how's it going? It's Jesse here from the Land Investing Business Secrets Podcast. I've got a great friend of mine. She's coming back on the show. Many of you guys may have heard of her before. Maybe you haven't. She's been back on. We've done webinars. She's been on the podcast before. Her name is Callan. And if you know me, I love systems. I love scaling, and really, Callan is another fanatic of that as well. So I'm super excited to have her here on the show as we talk about really multiple touch points when it comes to marketing, especially on the acquisition side of things. Anyways, get a pen and paper ready. There are some notes to be taken from this episode here. We do jump around on this episode. Nonetheless, I do want to let you know this show is brought to you by the Dirt Hacker Challenge. Make sure you check that out. It is a 5-day challenge. It is chunked out every day to help you get fully systemized with your land business, especially when you're getting started. There are a ton of nuances, and if you're not treating it like a business, there is no way to grow it like a business. I say there is no way to grow a business unless you're actually building repeatable processes. This is the key to growing and scaling any business. It doesn't matter what kind. Anyways, head over to dirthackerchallenge.com. Whether you are an active land investor getting started or somebody who just wants to be able to build a repeatable process or system and grow your team, make sure you head over to the challenge. Nonetheless, I'm excited to present to you Callan on this episode here. Cheers. Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Jess here, and I've got a special guest. Before this show, she told me her full-on first name. I'm not going to bother pronouncing it because I know I'm going to butcher it. Mina Rickey. Mina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to have you here. There's a lot that you're doing. And I want to get an understanding of all that. I had no idea. But first of all, if someone didn't know who you were, Mina, can you tell us who you are?
Sure thing. My name is Mina Rickey. I live in Florida. For the longest part of my life, I've been in sales. I've been a pitchman, which means we learn infomercials and then we go out there and sell. And that stopped during COVID because there was no more places to go out and sell. So I started my career in commercial real estate, and I focus on 3 things: land acquisition, self-storage, and multifamily, which that's an oxymoron because you can't focus on 3 things, but we can talk about that.
I'm gonna tell you, Mina, if you don't mind turning down your mic. I think it's now picking up quite loud here, so I'll let you turn that down. Cool. Well, hey, thank you for explaining a little bit of that, and that's what I want to dive into. But first of all, how did you get involved with land?
My husband knows personally Cody Bugan. Cody Bugan is the author of Best Ride. And my husband has seen how Cody has gone from a small millionaire to a multi-millionaire. I think he might be into the billions now, but don't quote me on that. And when we wanted to get into commercial real estate, he said, I've seen personally what this guy has done. And he just started showing a course on what he does. And I would love to get into it. And I said, let's do it. And I tell you, it took about 5 times of me going through that course to just get a picture of what is it that he does.
Wow. This is probably why he doesn't want to sit down with me on a podcast. So, Cody, if you're listening, I'm finding you. I'm hunting you down. We're going to get you on the show somehow one of these days here. So,
I promise
uh,
you, I'll bug him this weekend.
I appreciate that. So, you got in. You learned land through Cody, which is really cool. Can we get an understanding about your business? Any numbers you can sort of share with us, and
Absolutely,
whatever
absolutely.
you are comfortable with.
No problem. I'm an open book, y'all. So I've been studying this methodology for 3 years now, but I've been doing it full time for about 15 months. And the basic idea is to go through the jurisdictions to the county websites and handpick the parcels that are zoned for future land use that is going to allow for development. So there are areas in every county that they want to preserve for nature or they just can't grow on that direction. And there are areas where the city or the county wants to see the growth going towards. And they will tell you in their websites, they will say 15 in 15 years we want to see this area develop. In 50 years we want to see this area develop. So I go there and I handpick every single
Wow.
property, and I actually go ahead and throw it into Pebbles REI, and that's how we know each other. And then I skip trace them, and then I contact the owners. If they are interested on selling, then I ask them. I don't just buy cheap and sell low. What I want to do is I want to get you under contract and get your property through entitlements. So instead of having 10 acres for sale, we might have 50 lots to sell. That will allow me to pay top dollar development price for your property. In exchange, I want time to allow me to go through all the entitlements. So you won't get the cash next week or in a month. You will have to give me 8 months to 10 months, but then I will give you a lot more for your property. And
I love.
Jesse, full disclosure, I've been very close, and every time I get closer and closer, but I haven't inked a full deal just yet. I have one on the works right now, but it's. I mean, the game is different. The game is, I mean, it works your patience because you're looking for that perfect parcel and that perfect owner that is willing to work with you. And then you can actually deliver that because then at the end of the day, I want to wholesale that to a builder that
Right.
comes in and just takes over the whole project. And that builder, just because they are in a time crunch, are willing to pay more for 50 lots that are ready, shovel ready, plat ready, and then just come in and start building right away.
That's amazing. So, this is what I love about this podcast, and I take pride in is bringing on people in all different sort of cycles of the business. And you're someone who's still getting started on this. I mean, it's 15 months of it, but it sounds like it's a pretty big project here that you're working on, and it's an eye opener for a lot of people who listen to this because we're typically most of us are buying property for cheap and flipping it for a profit, but there are so many different ways now that you can get in and run a completely different strategy when it comes to land. Now, I'm assuming this is some of the things that you've learned through Cody, through his program at Best Right. So I know you're a huge advocate of his program, and I know there are certainly a number of you guys that have come into Pebble recently, and it definitely is a new name on my radar as of the last few months. So thank you for sharing some of that. Now, as you're sort of working through your land deals, and so just to be clear about that, you're really doing low volume then.
Very low volume, yes, because let's say that in that same example, 10 acres, 50 lots. Let's say that I make, I don't know, maybe just to keep the numbers simple,
Yep.
I make $10,000 per lot, clear.
Yeah.
That is how much is that?
I can't do the math. You might be able to
Me
do the
neither.
math.
It's
It's
like
a lot.
it's like yes, like I think it's 500,000 if I'm not mistaken. But they are big paydays, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm going for.
Right.
In a sense, I'm very blessed that I don't have to put food on the table from this.
Right.
I can take as long as I want to. Not too long, right? There's gotta be some energy back coming back, so that motivates you to keep going. But
Right.
the idea is that if I start to make 500,000, $1 million per deal, then and once you do one, the second one comes a lot faster and a lot easier, and the third one comes faster and easier because now you have developed the systems. The idea is that in 2 or 3 years, I'm making enough money to cover for all the time that I spent and I use to develop this machine. I call it
Right.
a machine. It's a machine that is just turning money and it's
Yes.
working mostly by itself, which is a big thing that you like to teach in your
Yes.
community.
Yes. Yes. So it's really interesting. You're getting started with land, and you just sound like you have a lot of business acumen. It sounds like you've got experience under the belt, and I know you're involved with other things, as you mentioned, with multifamily homes. And what else did you mention as well?
Yes, multifamily and self-storage. And I can just share really quickly what happened. So we joined Best Right during COVID because we couldn't do our business. And I started to call the jurisdictions, the county, and they were shut down. So I couldn't really get started. So I was just
Right.
like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing. I barely understand the business. But I was getting bored. I mean, this was already September of 2020. I was just like, okay, are we gonna go back to life or what? So we
Yeah.
joined a multifamily group. It's called Jake and Chino. I'm also a big fan of them. They are great people, amazing. And they were very active during COVID. So we just went everywhere they went, had every boot camp, made tons of friends, really dive into it. And then after a year and a half of really learning multifamily, I thought, I really don't want to do operations on multifamily.
Hmm.
The I believe that the checks on land are bigger and those can go into multifamily. So now you put it in multifamily, now you have a cash flow for
Yes.
years to come. And that I thought it was a beautiful way to work both of them. So I decided to focus my workload on land
Yeah.
and continue my relationships with multifamily. But I trust that business, multifamily business, so much that I
Yeah.
thought I would like to invite people to know about this business. And that's where the podcast came into place. Let's
Yeah.
talk to, I'm an immigrant and I'm from Mexico originally. And I said, I don't know that anybody will talk to me about these things.
Yeah.
So I was like, accent and everything. I'm going to open up a podcast. I invited a friend from Ukraine. So she's
Yeah.
from Ukraine and I'm from Mexico. And we have a podcast and we talk about commercial real estate. Just, here it goes. And she's got a lot of experience. But that's how things started to evolve. And
Wow.
if I may,
Yeah.
through the Jake and Gino community of multifamily, I met another lady. Her name is Heatherly, and she has, oh my gosh, she's third generation in commercial real estate. And she invited me to do self-storage acquisition, which I know it sounds like a lot, but they already have developed all these systems. So I just
Hmm.
have to integrate myself into whatever machine they have built. And anyways, I'm excited about that. It sounds, that's just phenomenal too.
I know you're super excited. Listen, I know I checked out your podcast. It's Decode REI, so make sure you guys check it out. It's with you and your friend Lydia, and I was just blown away by the amount of reviews you guys had. I was like, holy smokes! You guys only got that podcast up and running. I don't think too long, and congratulations on that. And so that you know what, we'll revisit that at the end of the podcast. I'd love to be able to share a little bit about how people can connect with you. So clearly, you're very excited about real estate, and you're getting involved with all different sorts of stuff. I guess all different sorts of real estate assets. So, how does one manage that? You're focused on building your land business. You're focused also on funneling some of that over to your multifamily home business, and then getting into self-storage as well. I know a couple people in the land space branching out into self-storage. One, namely my good friend Seth over at Tipster, another guest I had here a while ago. I don't know if he announced it on the show, so I won't mention it. But yeah, so tell us, how do you end up managing, and how do you prioritize? How do you get everything in order?
There is something called a calendar.
Love it. Here we go.
Yes, yes. And actually, it's been a challenge for me. I'm such a free spirit kind of gal. And my husband likes to call it, I fly by the seat of my pants. I'd rather call it free spirit. But yeah, it's been, oh my goodness, the discipline that has to go into just about anything. And, and, and just don't let disappointment or lack of results get on the way of continuing to work on it, trusting the system, trusting the journey, trusting that if you do A and then plus B and then plus C, it will equal D at some point. Don't worry about it. Just keep working. Something will happen. But be conscious and be proactive and be clear, like a little journaling in the morning, just to know what are the important things of the day, being able to clock out, because us, people that work by ourselves, we can go until 8 o'clock p.m. and just keep going. And the problem with that is that there comes Thursday, there comes Friday. I mean, we're still working, but we are not as efficient as we can be. And then the other thing is learning the systems, which is overwhelming. Jesse, I've taken your Dirt Hack challenge twice, and I want to take it the third time just because you talk so much about systems. If you can be 100% knowledgeable of what systems you are using, and you can manipulate them to help you instead of keeping you from doing things, boy, that just multiplies you. Especially in our era, we have technology. I mean, you use all those videos, all those training videos. That is amazing. All these SOPs, I never understood it before you. System operating procedures. I mean, all of those things. And the beautiful thing about this is that we don't have to invent anything. We can just get together with the people that are already doing it. So what if we have to pay a little bit? So what if it costs money? It's saving time. So all I'm saying is be smart, don't reinvent the wheel, follow process, follow systems, and then just trust that it will eventually, sometimes sooner, just pay back. And yeah.
I know you're enjoying the show episode so far, but I wanted to let you know that if you are looking to build or scale a serious land business, perhaps a 6-figure second income or eventually a 7-figure land investing empire, Travis King's company, Land Investing Mastery, has the most current and innovative education in the space. Travis goes beyond the traditional microflip that you might be familiar with and shows you how to 10x your deal size and execute on strategies like subdividing, portfolio takedowns, land sniping. We're talking 6-figure per flip strategies. If you're getting your education from someone who isn't actively investing, you're more than likely going to hit some plateaus as you try to scale. If you want to learn how to avoid the saturated red ocean markets, skip over the small stuff, and learn how to become a boss land investor, then Travis is your guy. Travis has completed nearly 1,000 coaching calls in the last 2 years that I've known him, and he has his pulse on the market. He will tell you, though, Land Investing Mastery is not a factory. They're a boutique agency built on transformational, life-changing results. You see, I'm in a really unique position, and I really mean what I've just said above. In fact, I get to speak to a lot of investors from all sorts of different education, training, coaching background out there, and I get a very good view of things from all the one-on-one demo calls that I've done. Now, you may want some social proof. Head over to pebblerei.com/Travis and check out Travis's wall of love on his testimonial page. And while you're there, you can also learn more about Travis's training programs and his exclusive mastermind. So simply head over to www.pebblerei.com/Travis for more information. Yeah, that's awesome. And because there is a level of discipline and that you have to kind of instill in yourself when you're sort of exploring so many different things here. Um, do you? I mean, you started on pretty early here, and with sort of doing land and multifamily home, but is there an ideal time somebody should explore beyond land flipping, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think there is an ideal attitude, there is an
Mm,
ideal curiosity, there is an
mm,
ideal attitude. Is everything.
right, right.
There. Time is an illusion. It really is. It is invented by man, and it
Yeah.
only works for man. It does not work for anybody else.
Right.
Anybody else in the planet, time doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like it works for us. We invented the clock and the years and age, and it really doesn't matter if you have a couple brain cells left and a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Man, what a joy. What I like about commercial real estate or land or dirt or any of these things is that it will enable you to have something that is tangible, and you're building something not only for yourself but for society and for your family, and for even if you don't have children, maybe for a cause. We just had
Mhm.
an event with Salvation Army. They are fantastic. I'm like, I need to help them more. Anyways, there is so much to do, and if we're just waiting for government to fix anything, we say we were not going to talk about politics, but if we're just waiting for government, nothing will happen, y'all. We have to, as society, be responsible for all of this. So, no, Jesse, I'm going on a tangent. There is
Yeah. No,
no
you're
time
good.
limit. There is only attitude limits and
Mm,
mind limits, and that's it.
I love that. I absolutely agree with that. So much of about running a business, doing your own thing, being a founder, whatever it is, it's all mindset. It really it all comes down to mindset. I love how you mentioned, trusting the system, seeing what other people have done, building off of that, and then it just gets fun when it start experimenting and trying different things. And obviously there are challenges, and as founders, we love the pain of challenge. I don't know why we're all addicted to that, but it's some sort of twisted thing that we all enjoy. Um, Mina, let's come back to land. You've got a strategy you really want to work, right? You're deliberately looking for areas that are going to have some sort of development down the road. What is your biggest challenge right now? What are you coming across right now that um, is a big challenge for you?
Honestly, my list needs scrubbing. I've been putting up properties, and I haven't been efficient the way I do it. I've been changing my methodology, so
Mm,
it's my list is a little bit of a mess. I got about 1,000 properties that I could take any of those properties. But I don't know which ones I have skip trace correctly, which ones
mm,
are kind of a skip trace, which one did I skip trace myself. I mean, seriously, if I could find time to scrub my list and then hire somebody full time to help me cold call,
right,
I think I would be very much in business. And yeah, no, seriously, that's it. Everything else, I mean, I have the website with you. People can go in there. I got the voicemail to receive phone calls. I mean, all those little things are done.
right.
It's just the list. It's always about the list.
Certainly, and then that's why we spend so much time talking about managing data and nowadays we're doing so many, we're exploring so many different marketing channels. As you mentioned, maybe you're doing mailing and then cold calling, whatever it is, and staying on top of that sometimes can be quite daunting. Now, Mina, me and you met over the Dirt Hacker Challenge. It's a 5-day challenge that I run here to help land investors get systemized. We don't talk about pricing, we don't talk about counties, none of that stuff. We really talk about getting processes in place and really how to build repeatable processes so you can actually scale. Now, you came out a couple times in there. When you first came in, I know, weren't really familiar with SOPs, or that's a fancy word for, really, I call it like instructions for the steps along your business. It's a fancy word that a lot of businesses use. Internally, we call them playbooks here inside of our team. How has that been? And getting those things in place, what's that experience been like for yourself?
That was the missing link I had in my business. It really was. It was, oh my God. It was, let's say that you have a fancy car, but you don't have the keys to drive it. I mean, I don't care if it's full of gasoline. I don't care if all your friends are with you. If you don't have those keys, you cannot turn it on. That was the key that I was missing, honestly. And I mean, you put it from a very high level as well. Let's think. Let's become birds for just a minute and fly all the way to the top, as high up as we can, and let's look at the business from the top, and let's see, what do we need to do? What are the steps? Big steps, and then smaller steps, and then smaller steps, and that is really just. I mean, anybody that tries to do anything has to go through those exercises. Right. But even though I've been part of communities that coach you on business, I don't think anybody really sits down with me and says, okay, let's think about your specific business and let's start writing down. I never learned that before. Maybe because I didn't go to university, but that to me was so priceless. I even told you, let me pay for the second one. It was that worth it. And you're like, no, you're okay. And I'm just like, no, this is gold, powder gold. This is what anybody needs. Yes.
I'm so happy.
Big time.
I'm so happy there's some sort of value there for you. And you know what? You're not the only one. And when I came into business as well, I didn't know there's such things as repeatable processes. And you hear all the time people, you probably hear, a lot of you guys might hear, I don't want to work in the business, I want to work on the business, but nobody really gives you like the unsexy stuff. I mean, really, this is not sexy at all. It's documenting your processes and getting it in place, getting clarity on what you have to be doing.
Honestly, because of you, I got my Loom account. So now I talk to my VA through videos. I mean, I knew about Loom. I just never saw the convenience of it. And it's amazing. And then Bookaroo, you gave me that one. How to record voicemails. I mean, just so many little things that build the machine, really. I just wanted to interrupt. And the other thing is, the only thing bad about that Dirt Hacker Challenge is that I didn't take it a year ago. I know you didn't have it a year ago, but that is the only thing. I wish I was born with it.
I appreciate that. Wow. Oh gosh, thanks, Mina. So what do things look like for you in the long term here? Are you going to stay focused on land? Is it going to be moving into multifamily home? Are you or into self-storage? Are you going to continue to balance between all of them? What does the grand scheme of things look like for you? Are you still still figuring it out, which is totally fine too?
My desire, my dream, and may the Lord allow me to follow through, is to continue to make the land more automatic, really continue to bring in folks, even if I have to share the profits. It's not about profits. It's about building a machine and having as little to do with the machine as possible. Just continue to build that machine on land.
Mm,
and then start to build the machine with self-storage.
mm,
And it only takes a couple of deals a year. I
yeah.
mean, I'm okay with that. I'm reading the book, The Psychology of Money, and it's for the second time,
I
and
have
it
that.
really makes me think about, okay, how much money do you really need? Do you
Yeah.
really want, and how much is it in your brain that you need that much? And let's have a quality of life, and not only focus on the next post and the next post and the next post,
Right.
because we happen to just keep on taking them away and farther away and further away, and we can never reach them. So
Right.
it's finding that contentness, and like I said earlier, also continue to work on in my community through the podcast, through all of that. I think we can really share with, for our specialty is immigrant women that
Mm,
want to get into commercial space. I think it's
mm.
awesome.
Yeah. No, I think I wanted to ask you that next of all. By the way, I just want to say I really appreciate your enthusiasm with what you are doing, and um, I think that's huge. And I think I again, I get the honor to speak to so many people, whether they're getting started or they're in the middle of journeying or figuring things out. And I love these kind of conversations. So Mina, I'm looking forward, very, very forward to seeing what you're building. But I want to come back to what you just mentioned. You're a first generation immigrant here. Um, Tell us what it's like, running a business, um, you know, doing land. I remember I had Ray Zhang on the show, and he's from China, and he has, let's be honest, I mean, people judge with these kind of things, with even accents and whatnot. And I threw him, I threw him that question right on the show. I asked him, hey, do people judge you or get turned away from working with you because you have an accent? I know I've seen this myself. Not that I have an accent, but I've seen other people, get treated differently. But how has it been for yourself being an immigrant and doing everything you're doing?
Honestly, it hasn't been a problem. I I don't know. It's just amazing. People have been very kind to me. There is grumpy people, but they are grumpy to everybody.
Yeah,
They don't discriminate. They are ugly to anybody, any color, any size,
right,
any age. And
right.
there is nice people, and they are nice to everybody. So that's number one. Number two is, thank God there is challenges, because if there is no challenges, there is no growth. And
Right.
if there is no growth, there is no excitement. If there is no excitement, we are dead. We're just stealing oxygen in this life, and we should just put ourselves away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
So that's really, really good. Now, when it comes to accents, what freaks me out, and it's a big barrier I need to cross, is the cold calling.
Mm,
Holy can we
yeah,
curse in your podcast?
yeah. Sure, go for it. Yeah, yeah. No, totally. Holy shit, right?
I don't
Yeah,
need to, because people know what I was gonna say. But
yeah.
oh my goodness, cold calling with the accent is so difficult. But hey, I got an app. It's called Voice, something like Train Your Voice, and I'm training my voice.
Wow, amazing.
Maybe one day I'll cold call. I think I'm just gonna hire somebody though.
That's the way to do it. So I really wanted to just tap into your mindset. You're coming. When did you come over to Florida?
I've been here for 15 years,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it's taken me so long
Mm,
to get it going, because first I didn't know this state very well. I didn't know the path of progress.
yeah.
I had been traveling for 16 years. Of
Wow.
well, 5 or 6 were in our RV throughout the whole country. We have a beef jerky company. It's Ricky's Jerky. If you guys want to check us out,
That's right. That's right.
shameless commercial. We have kangaroo jerky, camel jerky. Okay, I'll stop. Anyways, so we were traveling all over the country, and that was a lifestyle. So now
Yeah.
I had to learn to settle down and to grow roots. And it took me a little bit of time to get used to it. So I only been here for 15 months. I've been
Yeah.
in the States for about 18 years.
I just find it amazing how you come to anybody who comes to a different country and builds new roots and takes on owning a business and running a venture. I think that is truly inspirational. I don't know what that's like. I mean, I was born in North America here up in Canada, but for somebody to come from a completely different language background, cultural background, and open up their mind to tackling things like what you're doing is amazing. That's right. If you want to try Mina's jerky, I'll make sure to have this. I remember we talked about this a while ago. Now this all is coming back with your previous business. So that is very cool. Were you always sort of very entrepreneurial, Mina?
Well, if I may allow myself another minute, I
Yeah.
when I came to the States, I didn't have a working permit. So this business of salesmanship, impeachment, it only require you not to do drugs and to be able to show up. And I could do those two. And a lot of my coworkers couldn't get to those two. Anyways, I always had a job, and it was good money because I just, I had to sell $20 worth of a product, and then that would give me $5 of commission. Well, if
Yeah.
I sold 1,000, that would be, $300, and then some days you'll sell 2,000. So to me, it was like, I can't believe I'm making so much money just for talking. As you can tell, I like to talk. And so yes, it's always been entrepreneurial. My parents were both doctors in Mexico, and they
Wow.
had me working at the pharmacy since I was 13. So I never
Wow.
really liked school. I always just like to be out there chatting with people,
Right.
and people
Hey,
just give me money for it. It's fine.
a real skill. All right. Well, I'm doing something new called the quick fire round to kind of get to know our guests a little bit. So I'm going to throw you some quick questions here. Outside of land, Mina, what do you like doing?
Ooh, I like swimming. I like shooting. I like bicycling. Those are fun things to do.
Awesome. Very, very active. If you had to recommend one book, I know you already mentioned The Psychology of Money. I still have yet to read that. I purchased that a couple weeks ago. If you had a one book you wanted to recommend and that you've read recently, what would it be and why?
There is a book called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahn.
I'm only
Can.
laughing because I'm literally reading that right now.
It's very boring, it's very long. Don't read it. But if you are like Jesse and I that just like to have a hard time on anything we do, buy that book. It's amazing.
I love it. Your favorite food, Mina?
Believe it or not, Thai food.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I love Thai food. I
All
love Thai food. I could eat Thai food every day, all day long. Just give me Thai food for breakfast.
right. Love it. One thing you did a lot as a kid and you wish you could do more of nowadays?
I would love to spend more time with my parents,
Mm,
just doing nothing. Uh, just sitting down in the heat of the middle of old Mexico.
right.
And my dad has a orange orchard, and just be out there peeling oranges, eating oranges, and jumping in the water. Yeah, that's what I. That's why I haven't traveled much around the world, because every time I have time, I just go see my parents. I miss them.
I love that. Um, and last one here. Who would you recommend to have on this podcast and why?
I'm gonna say Cody Bugan, and because I already have my heart to introduce you to him,
Yeah.
and I will also. There is another guy. His name is David Hill,
Okay.
and he is I will say, the backbone for Cody Bugan.
Mm,
He's the guy behind the scenes, and he's also very sweet, very nice. I will also introduce you to him.
I
They are
appreciate,
just good people,
I
good
appreciate
people. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Well, um, Mina, you're very active. How can somebody get involved with you or get to know you? I know you've got a podcast. It's called Decode REI. That's with your friend Lydia and yourself. you talk more about commercial real estate on there, and congratulations with that. It sounds like you have a you have a wonderful following over there, that's for sure. But how else can they engage with you or learn more about you, Mina?
You can always find it on LinkedIn, Mina Rickey, and Facebook, Mina Rickey.
Yeah,
What is it? My email is mina@landreadypro.com or
awesome.
mina@decoderei.com. Yeah, I'd love to shoot the shit anytime. Just call me up and let's talk about dirt.
I love it. Mina, thank you so much for coming on to share your journey so far into real estate. You're taking and absorbing things in like nobody here. I know you're excited to work on several projects here, and we're wishing you the best of luck, and we're behind you, cheering you on. But certainly, I'll see you around on the next Dirt Hacker Challenge. Hopefully, some of you guys might be interested in it as well. Some of the books and resources mentioned, we'll make sure to leave it on the show notes of this episode on our website. Other than that, Mina, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Jesse, and keep it going, buddy.
Thank you so much. All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Before you stop this episode or hit the next episode, I want to personally thank you for listening to this episode of the Land Investing Business Secrets podcast by Pebble. If you found this helpful, we'd greatly appreciate any awesome reviews and ratings on whichever platform you are listening to this on. And if you have 2 minutes and wanted to step it up even more and help others, feel free to share this in other Facebook groups or pages or any communities, giving others a heads up of the Land Investing Business Secrets podcast or the specific episode that may help them on their land investing journey. Once again, thanks so much for listening, and catch you on our next episode.